Hello! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Naya. I'm usually based in Myanmar, but I am home in Australia due to coronavirus, living life, living my best lockdown life. Alright, so today I thought it was time to do a little bit of a Q&A. So a lot of you guys have recently joined my channel, which I appreciate so much, and because my channel is getting a bit more growth and there's more newcomers, I thought it'd be good to do like a bit of a sit down chat, that you guys ask some questions and I can answer them. So I put out a little requests for any questions, maybe more about me or Myanmar mainly, because that is my focus mainly on this channel. So you guys have asked your questions, it's time to answer. Right, I've listed them out. I thought we should do like a quick fire session on the questions about me, because I don't want to like talk about myself too much in this one. It's more about like other questions on my perspective. So first question, how tall am I? So I am quite tall. I am 177 centimeters, which is about 5'10" in feet. So yeah, I'm quite tall. It's so funny. I've like met people people have messaged me on YouTube and they're like, oh, I saw you and you're so tall, like you're a giant. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like me. And especially in Myanmar, like I am really tall because the average height is maybe like 5'2". It's quite short. But yeah, I think I also forget how tall I am sometimes, because when you're living with yourself every day, you just forget. Anyway, okay, second question is, what does my name mean? So my name is Naya on YouTube, but my full name is Tenaya. It is a Polynesian flower. However, when I was younger, until like my mid-teens or late teens, which is kind of a bit concerning, I thought it meant poisonous flower, because I swear my mum had told me it was a poisonous flower, and like we hadn't really ever clarified it since I was younger, so I had always told people like, my name is a poisonous flower. But you know, if you think about poisonous and Polynesian, it could be easily misconstrued, so I think that's where the error was. Yeah, so it's a Polynesian flower. It doesn't actually like mean anything other than that, it just is something. Yes. How was my college life? Which for me, like college is university. That's what we call it here in Australia. I went to university in my hometown. So in Australia, it's really common that you go to school or you go to university like in your state. It's not that common that you go interstate. You only really go interstate if maybe there's a course you want to do there. Like some people wanted to go do post-grad medicine, or I mean sort of undergrad medicine, and so they went after school and they went maybe to Queensland, which is up further north in Australia. But I live in Victoria and we have really, really good universities, some of the best in the country. Don't come at me. So because of that, like, you don't really need to travel anywhere else to go to university. So college life was not really the cool, like fun US college life, which I would have loved to experience. But yeah, university life in Australia is a lot more insular and regular. I don't know, you just like, people live at home. No one moves in anywhere really, unless you choose to move into a halls, which there's not really a reason to do that. So most people just commute, come in, go to university, go home. So yeah, it's good. I think like my university life involved a lot of traveling. Like I took a lot of like short-term programs and things like that, which I really enjoyed. So I think it's what you make it. I think the biggest thing that you can do in university is like join clubs and stuff, which is fun depending on where you do it. Okay, let's go to some Myanmar questions. All right, so the first question I have was, are you planning to stay in Myanmar permanently? The word permanently, I guess it means, okay, I guess I'm not planning to stay like super short term, but I think that I will be staying for the longer term. I don't think I'll live in Myanmar forever, but I could see myself like ending up staying for a few years, or like 5 years or more, just purely because I think that there is like a lot of opportunity in Myanmar. I really love the country, I love the people, and so because of that, I think that I could see myself like accidentally staying for that long. I think I remember when I first came to Myanmar, people were like, oh, I've been here like 4 years. I was like, wow, imagine being here for 4 years, like that's crazy. But then the longer you, like I've been in Myanmar for a year and I was like, oh, easily you can stay for 4 years. And so it's really nice to see how your perspective changes. So will I live in Myanmar permanently? Probably not forever, but for the longer term, I think so, yeah. Okay, what am I missing most about Myanmar since I've been away? I'm just missing, I guess it's Myanmar, but it's also just like the circumstances in terms of living away from home and exploring new things every day. I've really missed that aspect, and I think like for me obviously that's in Myanmar, but for other people it might be that they live in Singapore and they're learning something new every day. So for me, yeah, I really miss that aspect of like learning something new every day, seeing new things. I think especially in Myanmar, because it is developing, there is like little things that you notice when you live there for a long time. You know, like I'll notice like roads change, or they put in a traffic light somewhere, or they put a pedestrian crossing in, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot, that's a big change. Like, when did that happen? So I do miss, yeah, I guess day-to-day life of being able to be there long enough to see progressive changes, because that is really nice to see that in a place that you live in. Okay, what else am I missing? People have asked me a lot of people ask me what my favorite local food is and what my favorite restaurant is, a Burmese restaurant. So my favorite local food is definitely nanjito. You can ask anyone this, like I literally order this all the time. I think it's like the best dish ever. I don't know why, I think it's just texturally, it's really up my alley. And then I like a dry noodle. I love noodles. I'm not like a huge rice person. Not that I don't like rice, but if you put rice and noodles in front of me, it's definitely noodles, like every time. So I love nanjito. I think it's so delicious. That's my favorite dish. I also really love lepeto, but you guys know that if you watched the video from last week, you'll see me try some Burmese food in Australia. That was a really fun video, so give it a watch. But yeah, that's probably my favorite food. In terms of favorite restaurant, Burmese restaurant, I am yet to still explore a few more. I have been to like a few, 2 or 3 that I like quite like that are Burmese. So there's Myatjunta, I think that's what it's called. That's right pronouncing. Myatjunta. And there's also there's a place called Nyapicha, which is in downtown Yangon, and it's quite good. It's a little bit more modern, but it's really good. It's just local Burmese food, and it's really tasty. And they're like they're a bit newer, but I really like their curries. Are really good. Okay, next question. Do I have plans to make another Burmese language video? Well, yes, I do. I do need to keep practicing, so once I have some progression, I will definitely be making another Burmese language video. Don't you worry. How long did it take for me to adjust and feel settled in Myanmar? This is a good question, because I think that, like as I mentioned before, it was kind of like a mindset thing, but I do think that Alex and I are pretty adaptable as human beings, like, and you can chuck us in a new environment and we'll pretty much find our feet more or less quite fast. I think we're kind of like low maintenance people, I guess. Yeah, we kind of just like enjoy the environment that we're in. So I think that our adjustment and our settling in was quite fast, maybe like 3 or 4 months. But I think, to be honest, like you do think that you're settled, but then I think in this time, like as time goes on and you actually start to make more friends or more genuine friends that you really like, you start to feel even more settled, and then you realize like, oh hey, like before maybe I wasn't as settled as I thought I was. I think for us, we definitely, like for the first 6 months, felt like we had settled, but I guess it was like an ongoing like rolling basis feeling, because I think once we made more friends and we had like a tight group of friends and we would see them every weekend, that's when we kind of felt a bit even more settled, because I think that when you do have like great people surrounding you, it does warm the heart and make you feel more at home. I think when it is sometimes like you don't have enough friends or things like that, it does feel, you can feel a bit detached from the place. So I think, yeah, it took probably at least 9 months to really start to like put our roots in and find friends, find like a really good routine, certain things we liked. Because I think for the first 6 months you're putting your feelers out there and you're seeing, like you're discovering lots of new things every day. But at the same time, like you're figuring out like what your favorites are and like where your go-to place is and things like that. So you feel like you're more of a local. So I think that it definitely took us maybe, I would say like 6 to 9 months to really feel settled and feel like, hey, you know, I'm a veteran now, which is good. And I think that's probably true to whenever you move somewhere. That's why I always tell people, like, I think 1 year is not enough to move somewhere. Like you really need more time, because it takes you a year to settle in and then you have to uproot and leave. I think it's just a bit disruptive. Right. Is it easy for an expat to work in Myanmar with a decent living? So I discussed this a little bit in other videos, which I will link below, which is things that I like learned when I moved to Myanmar, or also how to get visas and jobs. But in terms of, I guess, the key things like decent living, I think, yeah, you can make a decent living in Myanmar. It really depends on your years of experience and the industry you're going into. So I think that the spectrum of what you can earn is very wide. So you can be on like maybe a minimum of like 1,500 to 2,000 a month US dollars, and then it can go up to like, I know people who are making like 10,000 more a month USD, but that is probably in a more senior position. So it really depends on where you're coming from, like who your company is. If they're just a Myanmar company, or if they're like an international company, obviously you're gonna make more in an international company. So it really depends on all those things, and it depends on, yeah, your skill set as a person. So you can definitely make a really good and decent living in Myanmar with the right opportunities. Yeah. So where is Myanmar big, and what other places will you visit other than Bagan and Inle? So somebody was asking me this, and a lot of people have brought it up that there are like all these beautiful places, like the snowy mountains up in the north, and down there's like a lot of beaches down in the Andaman Sea area, and I am very aware of this. I had plans to definitely visit a lot of those places this year, but unfortunately due to me having returned to Australia, it has made it a bit difficult, but don't worry, they're all on my bucket list. I'm definitely going to be traveling a lot of Myanmar when I get back, and I think being away has really instilled that even more in my mind. I'm like, oh, I have so much to see. So yeah, I have been to the Shan State, which is kind of like northeast, which is a very popular area. It's got Inle Lake, and then I've been to Bagan, which is the World Heritage UNESCO site, which just became that last year, but I went there before that. I've been there 3 times, absolutely love it. It's really unique. I always tell people to go there, but there's definitely way more places that I want to go to. I really want to go to really up north and like go to Kachin, and go to Chin State, because I've seen like the mountains up there because one of my colleagues works there, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So there's just so many places that I want to go to. I have been to Rakhine, but more like Nyapali, so more the tourist area. I went to Naypyidaw. But I mean, I want to go to Mandalay still. I haven't been to Mandalay, and there's a lot of other places I want to go and go hiking. I want to go to Kalor. So guys, yes, the answer is there's a lot of places that I still need to go to. And yes, Myanmar is very big. People really underestimate how big Myanmar is, but there's so much to see. And it is quite hard to get around due to transportation not being that great, and like roads not being that good, and then flights being like super expensive for foreigners, which I've discussed before. So yeah, I will visit more areas, and Myanmar is very big. That's my answer to that question. Okay, so the last question is, what is my least favorite thing about Myanmar? This is hard because I don't really think I'd have like a thing that I don't, like a least favorite thing that I would be like, oh, I really don't like that about Myanmar. But there are things that definitely frustrate me. I think they're more inefficiencies, maybe in like traffic or processing of certain things, or hashtag visa, or maybe like problem solving skills sometimes from people. But I think that's just small things that you get frustrated with, but it's never like a really big thing that I'd be like, oh, I absolutely despise this of Myanmar. I mean, I kind of don't really like that they charge foreigners so much to travel around the country. Like flights, I don't mind paying taxes to get into places. I understand that it's fine, but just flights would be nice if that could be like, I don't know, a bit more of a reasonable price for everybody. But other than that, nothing really. I do really like Myanmar. Alright guys, so that comes to the end of the Q&A for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that I answered all your questions. If you have more questions, I'm always happy to answer them. Just comment them below, or you can like direct message me on Instagram or Facebook. But I would love to hear your questions. It's really great to interact with you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. The only reason that I'm growing is because of you guys, and I really appreciate all your loyalty, your views, your likes, your comments, your constructive criticism. I really appreciate that. So I can't wait to keep bringing you more videos and make any suggestions of videos that you want to see from me, because that really helps, because I'd love to make content that, you know, you guys are really interested in. But other than that, thanks so much for watching and I appreciate you guys. Bye.